Welcome to DogStar.
Each week we sit down with a star of hip-hop and R&B, and this week we have the pleasure of sitting down with Daark.
How you doing?
What's up? Good to be here.
Yeah, it's our pleasure to have you here. We appreciate you taking the time out of the creative schedule to sit down with us, sit down with fans, sit down with us as fans,
Of course.
and dive on in.
Yeah, I love talking about music.
Hey, well, today's the day for sure. So we want to start basically all the way at birth. Were you born in Minnesota? Are you something about Wisconsin I'm seeing on your...
Yeah, Midwesterner my whole life. I was born in Elgin, Illinois. Moved to a suburb of Milwaukee called Wauwatosa when I was 4. Grew up there until 18, then came here to the Twin Cities for college.
Oh, tight.
Okay, so growing up, were your parents musical? Or did you have like siblings or uncles that were making music? Or
No.
what was the musical influence early on in life?
It was like, I got really into the Gorillaz, and I got really into like J Dilla, hip-hop instrumentals.
Oh, yeah.
Sick.
And I was a big fan of like the genre bending and the sampling elements.
Yeah.
So then I'd start kind of thinking about, oh, I want to be a DJ. I want to like put together cool remixes. I want to sample stuff that's super weird, but I just know like I respond to certain things really strongly with music. So like I played cello from elementary school all the way through high school, and it
Holy
wasn't
moly.
like something I cared about, but it was still cool to like be interested in music and how it can come together as like a whole collage of different people.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until like college, meeting one of my friends who's a producer, that we started talking about like, oh, it'd be cool to make music. And then after college is when I really got started.
Who was encouraging you to play the cello? Or like, was it just like something, a program at school? Or did your
Yeah.
parents think it would be
Mandatory,
really cool to have like a virtuoso as a kid one day? Or?
No, nothing like that. It was just like a school program, and my best friends were in orchestra.
Nice.
So if I took it every year, I got to have class with my friends.
That's tight.
Hey.
And correct me if I'm wrong, a cello neck, there's no like fret marks on it. It's all...
Mm-mm.
That's
Trombone.
so
Gotta
style.
remember, I was
Yeah.
not good, but I respected it.
And what do you think you've taken from some of those maybe more rote music lessons into your songwriting today?
I love orchestral elements like in beats and the
Yeah.
energy that they can bring. Also, specifically with the cello, it's like an instrument that's really similar to the human voice and then like its range of notes.
I never
So being
even
able
thought
to kind of like feel it almost as part of your body and like how your voice could go with the greater elements of the orchestra.
that vibration, right? That I never even thought about it like that.
It's cool.
And to have that kind of classical understanding or base knowledge to add to the, the toolkit.
Yeah. All the lineage and history of like orchestral music throughout the ages is definitely like a background for like sample culture, melodies, different ways of like layering a song.
So it all ties together. That's so cool. So was there any other activities you were part of that would have like hinted at what you're doing now? Like, were you ever on stage for anything?
Theater kid,
Or
poetry.
like,
No, I hate being in front of people.
okay, that's surprising to hear. There wasn't you weren't doing like individual or team sports in school.
I did cross country and track.
Okay,
sick.
that is pretty individual as far as that
Yeah,
goes.
It's just you and your mind getting through the race.
But yeah, you're saying hate being on stage, so there probably was there a bad experience maybe of being on stage and you're like, oh, I'm not doing that again, or having too many eyes on you at one time?
I've always been uncomfortable with being perceived because I'm self-conscious. But over time, as I've gotten just like more at peace with knowing how I work, how my senses work, how like I perceive things, it makes me more confident to move through life as I am.
Totally. And is it completely different feeling when you're part of the ensemble, the orchestral ensemble performing in front of, the performance versus
Yeah.
you are the only one on the stage?
Yeah, it's like,
Spread out a little bit.
think of like, I'm kind of a history nerd, so I think of like 1800s line warfare. You're in the bodies, you know what I'm saying? You have ranks of soldiers around you.
Right.
But if it's just you on stage, it's a lot of intention attention, and you also have to have the intention to like bring that energy and match it back to them because they're there to see you.
Right. I mean, in my imagination, I am now picturing the audience as the wall of opposing forces coming
no.
at.
Sometimes that's how it feels, but if you get them on your side and if you share that energy, then you're on the same team.
Beautifully put.
Then it's a ritual.
Oh, a ritual. I like that.
And so we've got the classical music background, I'll say, with the cello and the orchestra. When did you start like expressing yourself through writing? Was that early on, or was that kind of later in life?
I always liked writing more than like science or math. I like writing and history mostly. And I worked at my high school's newspaper. I was super into that, Cardinal News.
Hey.
Then when I was in college, I worked at the Minnesota Daily. That was like my job for a little bit on the
Sick.
copy desk. And throughout my life, I've written like music reviews, different like cultural analyses. I've always kind of liked tracing the lineage of like ideas and influences, especially with like sounds and how they navigate through the family tree of music.
And so that's more nonfiction than fiction in your writing experience, or did you kind of dabble in both?
I dabbled in both. I got to write columns that were more like nonfiction, me just talk about whatever. But I also like the practice and discipline of journalism, the different tenets of like how to ethically quest for information and put together a narrative.
Yeah, do you feel like you were like getting that like release of self-expression even when you're writing about like facts or like telling a story or like review, like whatever it's called, putting together something on a historical event? Like, did you feel like you were able to like express yourself by how you were synthesizing that information?
Yeah, trying to figure out, especially like as a growing teenager when I was starting with this journalism stuff, like your developing voice and how you're kind of seeing your own perspective change in the world as you get older. There's a lot of power to that.
That's super interesting. And as a MC, or like many MCs, they're telling the truth about what's happening, but it is still a lot of self-expression going in there. So it's interesting to hear that even if you're writing an article, like all facts, that you can
still have a voice. Yeah.
Exactly. That's huge.
You said you linked up with someone who was producing music in your college days.
Yeah.
Was that just kind of on a lark, or you said you were just were both such fans of music overall?
Yeah. One of my best friends in college, her solo artist name is Kim T. She's a producer, and she currently works in Clairo's band as her bassist.
Oh, sick.
So she's gone on to like chase music at a high level, which is like cool. But yeah, we both just like samples and like taking like a Rick Ross grunt and making a whole beat out of that and just like trying to come up with like cool words and ideas to put together.
That's tight. And huge to have such a like-minded person in those formative years.
Yeah, all about experimenting with weird stuff.
Yeah, when's the first time you experimented with like writing a song or like a verse or something
in that
like
same
that?
era?
Yeah, that would have been like late college, writing it just to kind of do it and just be like, we made a song. I've never done this before. And it was exciting, but it was not good. And it'd be cool if I never listened to it again. But it started something where it's like, I learned how you gotta write and make it come together when you deliver it. You gotta do take after take until you get it just right. And even then it was shoddy, but it was still a learning experience.
Yeah. Kind of a crash course, if you will.
And did you have artist name at the time of that first song?
Yeah.
Was it still, or was it different? What was it?
It was partly the same.
Okay.
It used to be Daark Liquor, but Liquor had 2 Q's in it. And my friend gave me that name because we were listening to this artist named Sparkmaster Tape. If you know who that is.
I've never heard of it.
Oh, it's like pitch shifted Memphis influence, like spooky sample, like aggressive rap, all this deep pitch shifting and scary texture and like rattling hi-hats.
Dope.
So many tags and air horns just going the whole time. It was like, it spoke to me. And my friend was like, yo, if you did a rap name, it would be that, because I drank rum in college at the time. So he's like, you're Dark Liquor. And then once I started doing music for real, I just like drop the liquor part because that wasn't important to me.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just kept the dark because I was like, that's part of my sound.
Hell yeah. That's huge.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
And again, I'm just trying not to geek out too much as a fan. It's like, we just learned the origins of Daark's name.
Exactly. Yeah. Who would have guessed that the love for spiced rum would be the origin of the name? But
Yeah, my dude Adon Hutt gave me that name.
Hey, okay.
the history, the lineage. It's so cool to learn about.
Yeah.
Are we missing any names between there and there where you're dabbling, or have you ever
No.
considered changing your name
No,
or rebranding? It's always felt
no.
Do you have, speaking of this topic, any advice for artists who perhaps you see changing their name every 6 months? I know, I'm sure.
No. I would say it makes it hard for people to keep track of you and your name.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you're allowed to do it.
Yeah.
It's like your choice if you're an artist, but
Right.
it just makes it harder to keep up with a consistent name. So it's easier. I just always liked my name, so that's easy for me to say. But if you keep changing it, it's hard for people to find your stuff.
Amen.
Could you ever see yourself like 30 years down the road releasing a body of work under your like government name? I feel like some people feel like, oh, once I reach this level of artistry, I could just go by like my name. Is there something about having a alternate name and therefore maybe like a alternate persona that you like about the artist name or the pseudonym type?
I guess for me, it's always been less about a persona because it's really hard for me to intentionally act away. Like, I can't perform. Like, if I'm in front of people, I'm just feeding off the energy and all of the adrenaline coursing through me and the feeling of like, I'm in front of people, but I'm doing something that I created and I'm like super excited to share with people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not so much a persona thing. It's like, I mean, Deb knows, like, I feel like I dress kind of the same, whether I'm like on stage or just in my house kind of thing. And I don't change up how I talk to people. I don't code switch on people. I like view everyone as just like someone I can learn from and I can share experiences with. And so it's less of like a persona and more just like my outlet for engaging in the world in like a way I don't usually do, but it gives me courage to make it part of my life.
That is huge and very well put.
Exactly.
I wanted to ask how the songwriting process has evolved over the past, I mean, almost a decade now.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely started making my songs way shorter over time. Because I used to, my first tape had songs that were coming up on like 5 minutes long.
You know, the Frank Ocean 2-part, 3-parters.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with those longer songs, and I still like making them. It's cool that I got to write so much stuff to fill a song with. But I showed it to one of my friends, and he's like, this is cool, but like each of these songs is like 2 or 3 songs. So you could have just taken it a few different flavors. And I'm like, cool.
And do you typically get the creative vibe from listening to the beat, or will you have more of a theme and intention, a few stanzas written, and then you find a beat that matches that?
No, I always start with the beat. If it doesn't get me started writing off the bat, just what it makes me think about, kind of like orchestrating a flow in my mind, or maybe just a phrase will come to me. But also my favorite thing to do is like go for a walk outside, making my soundtrack for a little bit over and over and over and just see what comes to me in my mind.
Yeah.
How did you find beats even for that first song versus how do you find beats now?
Well, I'm lucky because my first song, custom beat from my friend, the producer. My first tape, all custom beats from Max Fulton, who I worked with at the Minnesota Daily. And he's part of this group, Deep Fortune.
Okay.
They do like psychedelic, surfer, electronic rock kind of stuff.
Cool.
But he was putting together these crazy samples and like all these different like atmospheric sounds, like witch house inspired stuff. Like that's my big sound. That's my big influence.
But very rare for a first few dozen tracks to be custom beats.
You're right. I didn't know what to do when I was like, okay, I don't have fresh beats coming in from someone. How do I do this internet thing? Go to like BeatStars or TrackStars or YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting to switch it up. Having the unique beats or like the custom beats for your first few projects, were any of those producers like helping you figure out the business side of things where it's like, hey, because these are custom, like you do have a bigger percentage of whatever the split would be? Or when did you start learning about
Like the administrative side.
right?
I started learning about that once I really started out my distro kid, like my like real career when I was taking it more seriously in like 2018.
Okay.
The first few producers I worked with, they didn't charge me or anything, which was like super cool, super nice of them. But I had a falling out with another Twin Cities producer who was working with some of my stuff. We had a misunderstanding and they thought I wasn't trying to pay when just we never talked about it. So after that and that fallout that came from it, I was like, time to communicate overly and ahead of time to make sure everyone's on the same page.
How do you approach that conversation without taking out kind of like the fun and like in the moment creativity?
I think it doesn't have to take out the fun.
Yeah.
If, because they'll probably read it as like, oh, my time is being respected. They're opening a conversation to like, I don't just expect things for free.
Yeah, that's huge because I feel like, you know, having people sign a contract when you're all like hanging out and having fun in the studio can definitely kill the mood. Yeah, like a split sheet or whatever. It's like, oh, geez, like, you know, can ruin someone's high if they're, you know, not expecting to have to take something seriously and it says in perpetuity on the contract. And you're like, oh, well, what does this mean? And
But when you make it a part of the experience, you know, and of almost the standard template of how you're approaching making these songs that you see the value in, you know.
Right. And also knowing that people are doing this for all different reasons. Some people do it because the financial aspect is more important to them. For me, I just want it to be an outlet for like therapy and creation and for me to do what I want to do and listen to music that I made because it's like my favorite stuff to listen to. That's why I do it.
We need more artists like you, seriously.
People are allowed to do it for different reasons, you know, but this is just my way of making it easy to respect if people do have financial elements that are important. Because if I want to create badly enough with them, that's worth it to me.
We are sitting down with Daark here on DogStar. You can follow Daark at Daark ________. I might not have said 7 underscores.
There's
seven underscores. You can follow us at DogStar Podcast.
And to find the music, it's DAARK. You can just search that anywhere and it'll pop up.
And if you're not a fan, you will be after listening to the extensive discography.
Exactly. Stay tuned. We've got 2 tracks, including an exclusive track at the end of the show. We'll be right back. Bow wow.
Bow wow.
Bow wow.
Welcome back to DogStar.
We're sitting down with the artist Daark here, learning about your origin stories. Been in the Midwest. Are we at the point in the timeline where you moved to Minnesota? And was that for school or work?
College, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Class of 2016.
Tight.
And then what did you go to school for?
New Media Communications, which is like a communications degree, but with elements of journalism.
That's awesome. Seems right up your alley, at least from what we've discussed so far. Right?
Was there anything in school that you're using for your creative endeavors that you know, maybe didn't think of while you were learning it? Like,
yeah, I mean, I had a few different like media interpretation and like analysis types of classes because that was like one of my favorite things to get into. The ways that like culture reflects itself in art, especially. And I got to do a few music videos for my friend Kim T, who was producing the beats I would later work with.
Right.
So I was always thinking maybe I'd be a DJ, maybe I'd do music videos, but like being able to work with visuals and music to go with it and making them like really fit and seeing how that can enhance the listening and the viewing experience always stuck with me.
yeah, that's huge.
Did you ever get tripped up when you did start making your own music with that? Like, could you remove yourself from the mentality of this will someday be listened to by someone 500 years in the future, and will be analyzed by them for their whatever technology, you know what I mean?
Or college class that they're taking.
Right.
You know?
Can you remove yourself from that kind of scholarly mindset when you make music?
No.
Or do you keep that almost integrated while
I think
creating?
that it's really hard for me to not just take the kind of standpoint, the perspective that I do when I'm making music
Right.
and how I don't see myself as much as like an artist where someone kind of views that as like their station in life or like their kind of like caste that they're in. It can be like almost a form of like new era aristocracy where it's like musicians, influencers,
Right.
people that have social capital. I do it more as like I'm a person and I make music and that reflects what I do. It's not like music is like me, that's my title. I just make music.
I like that.
That
Right.
is huge. It's hard for me to imagine you as not like living the artist lifestyle with like what you're putting out on social media or like the way you're promoting your projects. It seems like you're, living on a tour bus and, having fun with artists like all the time. And it's like that is your personality. I mean, I don't want to pull back the curtain too far, but like what are you doing on the day-to-day that's inspiring all this cool music?
I work from home, hang out with my cat. I listen to music, make music, write, practice what I'm writing, practice music almost every day so that I can memorize my stuff and not have to think about when I'm performing it because there's a whole bunch of stuff going on when you're performing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I go for walks out in nature, see my friends, drink coffee, smoke herb, and go to shows and like listen to beats and watch movies and shows and get ideas of like what kind of sounds are out there and how can they be put together.
Was the beginning of your career more because there was like a SoundCloud era, I'll say, or like where a lot of artists were like recording artists, but not necessarily like artists that perform at shows? Was that the path your career was taking?
Yeah, I never even thought I would perform a show.
Really?
When I first started, I was like, it's an exercise and like an art form I respect, and I was starting to take my first steps in like figuring out how to create in that space. So everything was on SoundCloud just to start, SoundCloud and Bandcamp.
Yeah.
But then once I started taking music a little more seriously for myself and seeing it as like something I could continue doing, that's when I got on like distribution platforms, started figuring out like this can be quote unquote real music that anyone can look up on like the major platforms, and that's always been huge to me.
Hell yeah.
Can you tell us about the first time you did perform one of the songs, or maybe one of the few songs you had already released at that point?
It was in my friend's basement. We threw together just like a super quick lineup. This was like pre-pandemic
Okay.
basement show, like probably like late 2018, early
Okay,
2019. Basement show. It was like cold day in autumn, and I got to put together a lineup with my friend who like made the poster and everything, super DIY.
Fun.
And I had so much fun. I had no backing tracks. People's reaction to me was mostly like confusion, but there was an earnest, like, I could feel them responding to what was fun for me. And we shared that experience, and I felt like I was vulnerable, but still able to show a part of myself that was powerful and real. And to see that recognized was like an amazing first time.
Hard to believe that not every artist is experiencing that their first time.
I mean, yeah. I've also played a show that cleared out the whole room and there was no one. So I think it's important to have the perspective and know that, like, if I can get through that show where, like, no one was there and I was aware of it and I was like, I just got to figure out the set and just do it, that makes everything else seem like a success.
That's huge. Yeah, after that first show, you said it was a good feeling. So were you on stage like soon after that, or was it a while before you did it again?
I think I played at the Loring Pasta Bar, the Red Room, if you know that venue. Yeah, like later that same week, I got started performing
Wow.
like really hard, and it was awesome. Do you know who Sim One is?
Sim One, yeah, the like hyper pop, yeah, super dope.
She and I were modeling for a fashion show for our friends' like designs back in the day, like 2017 maybe.
Cool.
And that's how I met her. And then she started like, she was maybe the first feature I got, and she started booking me for my first shows.
Wow.
So playing with her and her whole like roster of really cool like digital pop, alternative cyber artists, super
Yeah.
cool.
Super cool. Yeah, the creatives is sick, especially in the we're familiar with the Twin Cities scene. It's
Yeah.
always so cool seeing that. What we've known you for collaborating with a lot of artists over
Yes.
the years. What does collaborating on a track for you do versus just doing it all yourself?
For me, it's always, I'm only gonna collaborate with people who have a sound that like I think would be awesome to blend with mine. Like someone who, in a sense, I'm almost like a fan of for at least part of it. Because I've always respected like artists and albums that can weave together like all these different bits of different artists, each kind of like shining in their own way,
Right.
put together into elaborate tracks. And just like being a nerd for all these Midwest artists who like, I love their music, I love what they're doing, and being able to like have the agency to step forward as an artist and see them as a peer and say, let's create something, and being able to make something that's weird and not done before, it's like my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, being yourself seems to be a theme for you, and then like obviously you have a very unique voice, which would help being yourself and like having a distinct sound on music. What advice would you give to artists? Because I feel like for most artists, it takes them a while to find their sound, and so if you're looking for artists to work with, it would probably be more established artists, or at least like super confident new artists who are like in their own lane and like know their own lane. Or like you were saying, they're almost like not predictable. Predictable is the wrong word, but like you could hear what they might do on a track together with you. What advice would you give to artists for like finding their sound?
Don't be afraid of your influences and paying attention to what you like and why you like it when it comes to like anything you consume. That could be other music, could be a movie you watch, a video game, whatever. And trying to do your research and approach it with a student's mindset. You gotta own what you like, know that people might think it's weird and they might not really support you until you start putting it together in a certain way. You just need to trust yourself in what you like. Being a music nerd and liking all these different sounds and genres is why I decided to create.
Dr. Daark, seriously, you're dropping so much
Yeah.
wisdom. It's like a master class in and of itself. So very, very eloquently put and perfectly stated.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And then throughout your discography, you've done, your fair share of just singles, dropping a single, but then also done your fair share of projects.
Yeah.
How do you decide between singles and projects? Is it like the spirit of the time, or what you think people will enjoy, or just is there something about like a full album that's different than just dropping a single?
There's definitely something different about an album versus the single. I view the album very much from like the song ordering perspective, where like it's got to flow a certain way. It's got to just like make creative and emotional sense to me for like the story or like the sound I'm going for, whatever kind of flavor I'm trying to show.
Yeah.
And singles are pretty much what I create when I'm outside of a project as an idea. It's like
Okay.
I'll work on a project this whole next span of time that I'm creating. It's like whatever's coming to me is going to show up in that project, and that project is going to show this past like half year, for example, of just where I'm at with my music. Because everything I get started on, I finish. I don't like have an album full of like unreleased stuff. Everything I make has a plan.
Wow. That intention is huge. And I can only imagine is a driving force in your creation and a good habit for any artist to have.
Yeah, with that intentionality, can you kind of like walk us through the major projects in your discography and tell us like what the plan was or like the intention was behind them?
Yeah. Let me take it back. Shadow Talk was really just like experimenting and getting started and embracing like heavy atmosphere samples, like a very witch house influence kind of production. And then I think I dropped like Glimmer Viper after that. I got started with producing most of the beats on that.
Oh, whoa.
Making it like atmosphere, kind of sci-fi, but also still kind of spooky and like boppy.
And what DAW are you using at this point?
GarageBand.
Sick.
Hey.
That's all I know how to use.
That's dope. I mean, it's a very versatile program.
Yeah. After that, I just had like a series of tapes. My first real album was like Humid Sleep. That was
Okay.
10 tracks. That was me working with all these different producers, all these different local artists for features. And then after that, Battle Damage series tapes, that was like half collaborations. Everything is just like hard. I was big on like making my drill beats and like the UK influence kind of stuff in the day. Just like playing those shows at Urban Lights, like down the road with the open mics and just being like, let me come with some hard stuff and people are going to have to notice me. Even if it's like, I don't know what that is,
Right.
I'm going to do me.
I love that.
And then after that, it's pretty much just been like Nocturnal Circle series of tapes, which are all Midwest collab focused. So like Milwaukee artists, Twin City artists,
Sick.
all the features I can get, putting together different flavors and seasonings and just like making weird albums. No one else is making.
Flavors and seasonings, very, very well chosen words. I mean, you are curating this recipe. You are choosing which ingredients to pair with the other ingredients. Again, it's sounding more and more inhuman to discuss how, or to compare a unique artist to like a vegetable. But I think that's allegory. As much as it's falling apart, will get the job done.
Yeah.
It'll get the job done. So yeah, with the Nocturnal Circle, what's like the symbolism or like how'd you land on that name?
Does that have anything to do with the 3 circle symbology you've used throughout your artistry?
Yeah, kinda. It's like, that's my main kind of like glyph logo I use. It's very much influenced by the idea of like, that's a symbol or shape you'll see throughout history, throughout nature. Like, it's just kind of eternal. And I take a lot of that influence of like the enduring storytelling that comes from myth and how we create like monsters and angels and like the way that we navigate the world and how we perceive what we're doing and what the bigger picture is that it's all going toward. So it's just kind of like this, well, it rhymes too. So it's like the circles, Nocturnal Circle, because dark, because nighttime. And then it's just also like a circle, a congregation of like artists, like the round table. There's no head of the table if it's all circle. It's the broader world, but mainly the Midwest.
That's
I
huge.
love that,
Wait,
yeah.
I mean, we love the Midwest, so that's cool with us.
Me too. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
I wanted to ask how you manage your time. We know you just gave us a breakdown of kind of what a day-to-day or a week-to-week looks like for you. Is it more rigidly scheduled like a college course, or is it, you go with the flow?
I'm big on schedules. I gotta be really consistent. I kind of view the music part of my life, even though I still like go running like I used to, like music is my sport. I take like you know what health goth is?
I don't.
It's like a fashion subgenre from like 2010. It's like black and white, monochromatic sportswear, but like
Okay.
make it hipster kind of shit.
Okay.
Nice.
So like, I'll just be like wearing like hydration gear and running gear and just like practicing music every day and drinking like my formula of like water, my throat coat tea, my coffee for the energy. It's like I practice this, I get it down, and like I learn the discipline of just how I maneuver. And then when I'm writing something, I practice that. I go for my walks, and then I just wait for it to come together. And then when I record, I use my own home studio and just like go at it. I take after take after take until I get it just how I want it to be.
Sounds very, again, the relation between film and music sounds like a director doing 50 takes just to get that one shot, to get it perfect,
Yeah.
to match it how you hear it in your head, to match how you see it in your own eye.
That's always the hardest part, right? Like as artists, we're always chasing something, and what we create will never quite be the exact thing, but that's part of the beauty of it.
Well,
too.
and I'm sure, not to get too psychological, but I'm sure it changes in our heads what we're going for as we, whether it's a blend of ego or insecurity or whatever.
Yeah.
But it sounds like with keeping these habits, keeping these schedules, it helps with that creative process to just kind of to get it out, not to hesitate, not keep it up here,
Right.
but to
Yeah.
get it on the wax, as it were.
Artists are allowed to build their vault or their catalog if they want, but I think that if I'm not putting this music out into the world, I'm doing a disservice to myself and the discipline that I'm trying to work on, which is just like creating, sharing with the world, receiving back what it speaks to me.
Yeah, you've definitely like released on a pretty consistent basis.
Big time, yeah. Make sure you check out Daark's discography. We are sitting down with Daark here on DogStar.
Make sure to follow him on Instagram, DAARK7_. Follow the music, DAARK everywhere.
Seriously, get into that extensive discography and listen to it chronologically if you can. It's available everywhere.
Exactly. Follow us, DogStar Podcast. I'm sensing a break coming on.
We will be right back with more Daark on DogStar. Bow wow. Bow wow.
Bow wow.
Welcome back to DogStar. It's dark out.
We are sitting down with Daark, formerly Daark Liquor, learning all about you from your origins in Illinois to Wisconsin to Minnesota, from Shadow Talk to the present. Again, like I was teasing earlier, we have an exclusive track to play for you at the end. Your representative sent over 2 tracks, Headlock, produced by Heezy the Artist and Tommy Electra. Why'd you pick that track as one of the tracks to share with everybody today?
Because it's pretty new, so it's hot off the presses. And also, I was telling Deb about, like, it's some of the most fun making a song I've had in a minute. It takes a sample flip, like, influence from something that I love from back in the day, like an '08 banger, an R&B scene. And then just, like, clapping it up, making, like, danced up in Milwaukee style with all the, like, 4 on the floor, like, claps with it, the bass coming in from Tommy and Heezy, like, it's just fun.
And what do you look for in a collaborator beyond, one with a good voice or one who knows what type of art they're
Right. They gotta know their style, trust themselves at least enough, and also they gotta be open to experimenting. Because I don't want to make something that everyone's gonna like, because then that's not specific enough. Like, we're not creating finely enough if it's not gonna split differences with people. It has to be weird.
I like that.
Yeah, talk more about that. So something about having people not like it is something you're trying to do, or just like something...
Staying true to yourself.
I know that me and my sound, they're both gonna be like polarizing and not everyone's cup of tea. And that's okay. Because you give up that self if you seek the approval of everyone, you're not really being your real self. So it's just me trying to be honest with myself and with anyone who listens to my music that, like, that's where I'm coming from.
And talking about previously the relation between the visuals and the audio enhancing the visuals and vice versa. Yeah. What can you tell us about the production, the pre-production of the music video for Headlock?
That one was shot with in-house Milwaukee, which Tommy Electra, one of the producers, like, he's part of that. It's
Okay.
It's a Tommy Electra, Tombo, and MKE Neely.
Okay.
And they're producers, artists, vocalists, engineers, videographers.
Whoa.
Like, they're a good group of people to work with in Milwaukee. They have their own vision, their own, like, texture, their own kind of atmosphere and aesthetic that they bring to things. But I knew I wanted to make it joyous and like a celebration, just because that's sort of the sound that the production brings to it.
Right,
There's like
fun,
the humming, there's the melodic elements, and then it's just like clapped up. So I threw but I knew I wanted to do like Milwaukee dances. I got my dude DJ Megadon out to like join me at the lakefront Milwaukee Art Museum.
Sick.
Like shoot over at the lakefront, just out in nature with everyone in in-house. And then I'd been playing some like GTA, and I know I wanted to have like an item selection wheel, so that like
I
Tommy like showed
loved
me that
that.
graphic. Yeah, so that's pretty much just how it came together.
That's awesome.
Are you doing a lot of the creativity behind the music videos? Are you cool to let like a director be like, hey, you said you needed a music video for this, like this is my idea, like you're just gonna be a piece in the video?
It's always a conversation,
Right.
because I like to pick a videographer or editor who I know that they have a flavor that they bring to
Right.
it. I know that they can hopefully achieve kind of the vision I'm going for with things, because my music and my visuals that go along with them, they're all kind of part of this like shadowy but also hyper colorful, just like mythological, celestial, but very like real and natural and earth based. All these energies coming together. And I know that they need to be able to like they have to follow at least a little bit of like an ethical code that aligns with mine. Like there's no one that can say that the music isn't political, because rap is always political. It's always part of an ecosystem that is a response to like oppressive forces. So
Right.
being able to navigate the spaces in art that you're in with open-mindedness and trying to show respect for the people that created and innovated it, that's important if they're going to work with me too.
That's huge. And
Yeah.
again, boiling it down to having them respect, not necessarily done all the homework, but respect the origins, respect at least some of those influences.
Yeah.
That's huge. No, I really respect aligning with a baseline of ethics with a collaborator as well.
Yeah. And I mean, to this day, I've never taken like feature money, because everyone I've worked with is like someone I want to work with who operates on that respect. Like, even if someone offered to pay me to feature or whatever with them, if we can't line up like that in the important ways, then it's not worth it.
Right, wouldn't just take the bag in order to be a part of something you don't agree with.
Yeah. I'm not very money motivated.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, what, I guess one more, like, if you were to intro Headlock, or like, what kind of day would somebody be having if they threw on Headlock?
If you're boofing it up, smoking that good stuff, or even better, if someone you know is like snapping on you, acting like illogical, they're just kind of like being hard to understand, and part of it is because of what they're smoking. Is like I know that you're dead wrong smoking on that Headlock because of how you're acting.
Yep.
That's perfect.
Oh, a lot like that. And then, yeah, the exclusive mall.
Ooh.
What can you tell us about that? Why hasn't it dropped yet? Why, tell us everything.
The journey of Mall.
This is one of the newest songs off the presses for me. A couple months ago, I organized the Battle for Milwaukee showcase show. Empress Aura popped out at that too, first out of town
Sick.
show. And I linked up with Tule there because he was on the lineup.
Okay.
And he really I debuted Headlock that day, kind of like in front of people.
Whoa.
And that was
Nice.
exciting to do. Tule was fucking with it. And then, do you know Sticks from
Oh,
around
yeah.
here? Yeah. I've been like slowly poisoning Sticks to be like kind of an outpost of Milwaukee production, but in the Twin Cities, because
Sick.
he's always like picking up the sauce and the flavors and the influences, but putting his own like weird, in a good way, like twist on it. Experimental is how I'd say it probably.
Totally.
So good timing working with Tule. He always makes some of the best music in Smackintown, Wisconsin. And Sticks also has the sauce, so I just know I wanted to do something fun and kind of menacing too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely checking both of those boxes.
Yeah.
And, I mean, as a fan, are we going to see some visual, like a visualizer, maybe a music video for Mall?
Yes. No, I forgot to answer that part of your question. Hasn't dropped because I'm shooting a music video with in-house Milwaukee
Sick.
when I'm visiting Milwaukee later this month.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, having your boys in Milwaukee and having Sticks, it sounds like, as a producer you really like working with here.
Yeah. He also engineers all my stuff.
Oh.
But he's someone I can go to where it's like, I have all these samples I have in mind, here's a BPM, and he can work his magic on it and like make some really cool stuff.
Ooh.
Human genius. Yeah.
Would you, going back to music videos, would you ever drop, or would you ever produce a music video for a song like from Human Sleep? Like the one that you didn't make at the time.
I've never thought about that. You know, every once in a while when I have like my iPod on shuffle, I'll still listen to my old stuff, and it's not top of my list, but that could be a cool thing to do.
Right. I mean, I'm sure the time isn't there and not enough
Yeah.
hours in the day, but
And I can always notice the things I would have changed, the imperfections with my older music, but I trust myself enough to know that I was making it truly and honestly from my influences, and I still have a lot that I like about the old stuff, which is awesome.
that I love that you listen to your own music. Not every artist does.
We
Or
are our history.
Yeah.
you're dropping all these beautiful, very eloquently put quotes, basically.
Exactly.
So thank you.
What advice would you give to yourself at the beginning of your musical journey, knowing all that you know now, and at least moving confidently in your path nowadays?
Right, some wild multiverse time travel. Younger you sees this interview somehow.
I think this can apply to almost anyone's life. So, like, let me know if this is too generic, but trust yourself and believe in yourself. I wish that I was able to understand back in the day that part of if you're going to be you and do what you like, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Some people are going to clown on you. Some people are going to say, what is this you're listening to? Like, turn it off, switch it up. But if you know what you like and you trust yourself enough that, like, there's something valuable in that you see, someone else in the world is going to see that too. And it's not about other people, but you yourself need to be able to trust a little bit that you're onto something.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's huge. And so back to Mall. You said that's coming. That's off of a project that's yet to come out.
Between you and me, I think it's going to be on a project, like whatever my next project is, but it might be one of those rare tracks that gets dropped as a single, then shows up as part of a project later, but I don't know yet.
Aha, but yeah, itching to release it. Must be why you brought it today.
Yeah, it's hard to sit on music you're excited about.
Exactly. And yeah, something about dropping the music as you're making it has really been working for you.
It feels right, yeah.
Yeah, would you give that advice to other people? Because you were talking earlier, some people have it sitting in the vault, or maybe you're saving up for an album or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is there something about releasing it like close to when you created it that you feel like is like a good practice, or
maybe saves your time? Because you could, perfect it into infinity.
Yeah.
It's always hard for me to feel like I can tell any other artist how to go about their artistry.
Right, everyone does it
I know that
different,
works
right.
for me, and that's what feels right, because for me it's kind of like a journal or diary. It's just like, this is the music I'm making in this time period, churning it out, because I'm going to be working on something new when the next chapter of my life is happening, which is every moment.
Yeah.
And then some people really like to sit on their stuff, craft it, refine it, do multiple drafts. For me, a lot of the time, I have enough of an idea of what I want the song to sound like by the time it's done, that like my inner like journalist editor is able to like give feedback, take away this, take a few iterations, a few demos, and then the song is like good to go.
Wow. A good step-by-step process. At this point, it just sounds second nature, I'm sure, in your daily creation.
Part of a discipline and part of self-therapy, just like working with these ideas and these sounds and these things that mean something to you and hacking away at it.
Well, we really appreciate you joining us today on DogStar. We're about to listen to those 2 tracks, and we really look forward to seeing how you drop Mall, whether it's a part of a larger project or a mini single party in and of itself.
Yeah, I'll be excited to see what the music video is like for that too.
It's going to be nuts.
It's going to be nuts, he says. Make sure you follow Daark on Instagram, DAARK 7_. Follow all of his music, Spotify, SoundCloud. You still got stuff up, Bandcamp. Support the artist.
Bandcamp.
Even a buck a track, that's easily worth the money. Keep the art going.
But gonna be maybe curating some more shows this fall and winter.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we got shows coming up. I'm playing several in Milwaukee when I'm visiting later this month.
That's awesome.
Few Passion Park shows, and then trying to keep it busy all the way up until the point where it's too cold and I don't want to go outside to see other stuff.
I mean, is your hibernation, as it were, going to be fruitful? Do you get a lot done during the winter creatively, or is it kind of like a creative
It's
hiatus?
different. You know, people, especially artists in the city, and like the amount of people that will pop out to shows and the number of shows that will be happening, like it feels like there's a freezing a little bit,
Right.
but there's still things sprinkled here and there that are worth it. But also, I'm still listening to beats. I'm still recording. I'm still doing what I need to do, and I almost always like now winter or something.
Well, thanks for continuing to do what you need to do, because I think it's helping the world. It's helping me, at least.
It's
It's been a pleasure. This has been DogStar. Bow wow.
Bow wow.
Not again. Aren't you a little old for this, Tommy? Oh, I'm sorry.
Swinging for the fence, but I'm buried in that bedrock. Swimming in the treasure, got you wearing out your fresh socks. Been a couple wishes, I was fishing for that dead stock. Coming through the dishes on that mission for that wet lock. Stayed in for a minute till a pity is the death drop. Shooting to the ceiling, I get in it like a dreadnought. I seen ready, well and steady, spilling on my head thoughts. Creams in my feet, I crawl the city like it's Red Rock. I know that you dead wrong. Smoking down that headlock. I know that you did it wrong. Smoking down that headlock. Drop, find the door and then I go. At 94, I'm about to blow. A bag, a couple rolls. I've been smacking out the dome like they'd attack me in the hole. Macaulay Culkin all alone. I got the heck in all the words. You looking good. Smell that cooking wood. You know I've been back in bad. Fire to the heart. I clashing with this broken glass. I can catch a herd of them. Where there's cattle in the rise. Know the night is dark. And at that 3 a.m. young kiss me shiny. I hate to see them go, but I love to watch them flee. They couldn't take the smoke. Hazy days of smoke for me. I'm speaking through the centuries. I'll be the one I'm meant to be. The team on knows I'm sensory. I told them what it meant to me. Moving wary than a dead stop. Cherry Bronx at the dead drop. Scary stunts, get that headshot. Wearing camo like a grind. Demo from a scary blunts. I know that you did wrong. Smoking down that headlock. I know that you did wrong. Smoking down that headlock. I know that you did wrong. Smoking down that headlock. I know that you did wrong. Smoking down that headlock.
What? Man, what? Shawty got that wet water, tell her whack it down. All the bad blood, too late, I'm from Smacking Town. Your boyfriend, I fap him down. Can't even get it, she be acting out. We both know these be going. We both know these be going. We both know these going. We both know these going. Shawty got a basketball booty, tell her bounce it now. Bust it open for a real, nigga, get me that time. Bust it open for a real, nigga, your mama house. Real, I do real, I'm not no Charlie Brown. Bend over, bend over, bend over, bend over, bend over, bend over, bend over.
Tootie with the toolie, I get to it, ratatouille. Loves a movie and it's goofy off a bluey. Love the Zuli, pushing to me, I get groovy. I was moving off of Lucy, they were choosing me like a we flavor juicy like it's movie. Hey, black on my approvals with a fuss and dancing down. Get it back, I'm a dumo smoking on the Kit Kat. Give me a break, saw the looters moving through the smokestacks. I went through the rumination, patient wait for get back. Reputation that you're losing, you can never get it back. Replicated all my movements, you can never make it slack. Trepidation that you're choosing, that can only hold you back. Activated for intruders, I was moving through the bad and then smack it on my hands. Hit the two-leg ass. Keep the moving up my scales like I'm rooting in the grass. In the bag, let's advance it. Don't approve it, it's a down. Get the blues, I hit the pack. Get interviews, I hit the sack.
Bend down, bend it, bend down, bend it, bend down, bend it, bend down, bend it.